Hi, scholars! It's Miss Wendt from North Phoenix. Hope you're staying safe. Today, I'm sharing with you another activity that is an easy one to do right at home. We're going to be making an origami box. So the supplies that we're going to need are a sheet of paper. Now, you can get creative and use all kinds of different papers. You could use this printer paper. You could use colored construction paper. If you want to get real creative around your house, you could use a magazine piece of paper or some newspaper, some mail, anything that you would like. Okay? Now, the trick is that what we need to be starting with is a square piece of paper. Origami starts with a square shape, and I'm sure that if you have a printer paper or even those other kinds of fun papers, they're not going to start in a square shape. So we're going to have to make that ourselves. Which brings us to our next supply, a pair of scissors. So in traditional origami, there would be no cuts. And once we start folding our box, there definitely won't be. But part of that preparing our page to be in a square shape will involve the scissors. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take a side and we're going to fold diagonally. Now, our goal here is to make sure that we are getting one of our top edges, corners, into the closest position as possible. We've got to pull it as far. We don't want to pull it too far so it goes over the edge. So that this corner will have the crease going exactly all the way to the corner. So that's what we're looking for. And just take a moment, take your time to make sure everything is lined up. And once you have that all lined up, the first thing that you're going to need to do is make this crease. And it helps if you come from the corner that's right there down to the middle. Now you have a hold of the page in a way that's easy for you to be able to make that fold, and your page won't slide somewhere. Now that means that this little bit right here, this is the excess. This is the extra piece that would make our page not square. If we were to unfold this now, this inside piece right here is what's square. And this piece is the extra piece that we don't need. So that's what we're going to use our scissors to cut it off. And depending on the size of the paper that you started with, this little extra piece might be a different size for you, and that's okay. Now, I'm going to set that aside. This piece of paper, this square now that we have, is going to make a box that's about this size. Fits in my hand, just like that. But if you were to start with a smaller square than this, your box would, of course, get smaller than this box. But we're going to start with this today. Okay, so now that we've prepared our page so that we can start with our origami box, we'll notice that by preparing it, we actually got our first little bonus type line right there. So now we need to make a second one. So we'll go to the other side, fold all the way to the corner. Make sure your corners line up on the top and on the bottom. And you can see that little crease that we made before on the other side. If you follow those down the middle, it makes it easier for you to have a good grip on your paper as you continue to fold your crease. It makes it nice and even. Okay. So we're going to open that up. And now we have an X across our page. Now our next step is that we're going to make sure that after this X, we're going to take all four corners and we're going to fold them to the exact middle of where our two fold lines meet. So that means we'll take this corner and you will fold it and put its corner edge exactly there in the middle. All right, and following that line straight down gives you nice grip on your page so that you can make those creases nice and straight. Next, just keep going. Pick another edge and try and make sure that they're not off like this. If they're off a bit, then you're going to notice it down here at your tip. So you definitely want to make them meet as best you can exactly in the middle. All right, so that's folding in all 4 of the corners. Okay, so now that we can see all of our old fold lines still, like right there, and those are going to be guides as we continue on. So our first thing that we're going to do with this step is we're going to be folding our top and our bottom edges in, just like this. And we're going to be folding them in to that center crease that we can see that we've made before, right there. Nice line in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to make that fold. That means this edge is going to be going to that very middle right there. That center crease. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Fold it in to that center crease. And if you need to, I think opening it up a little bit helps you so that you can actually get to that center crease with the second one. Yeah. It's running away on me. There we go. And I see that my edges are nice and lined up, like right here, it's not going over my paper. Same for this side, everything's lined up evenly. Down the center. Crease your paper. All right, now we're going to turn it. We're going to do the same thing to this top and this bottom piece now that we've turned it. So that way we'll have those creases on all 4 sides. All right, so now I've made those creases. And that means that I have a whole bunch of little rectangles or little squares. We started with a square, so we're keeping with the square. No rectangles here, just squares. So now our next step, we have all those little squares. We're going to open up 2 of our flaps that we've made, 2 of our triangular flaps. All right. And we're going to take our top and our bottom, and we're going to fold it on the crease that we've already made into the center. That's easy. You can see how it folded so nicely right there because there was already a crease that we'd made before. Now down from the center, out to one side, out to the other. It's just effectively kind of made a crease right here so that this triangle corner could happen. Now we've done it to one side, we turn around and do it to the other. Right there in towards the middle. Down and out to the edge. And out to the edge. All right, now we finally have this long rectangular kind of piece if you were to stop here. But if we look at it, we're going to notice that there's some square sections that we have because we can still see our creases that we've made before, our guidelines. And that's this center square area made up of 4 little squares. And then this edge here where we've got 2 squares, and then this other 2 where there would be 2 more squares is kind of going into our triangular flap area, this diamond-y shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our edges and we're going to make it go diagonal. We want it to come up here. We need to make a diagonal. So we're going to see that from our center squares, those 4 center squares, right there at that bottom corner, that's where we're going to make it meet up there at the top. So we're going to take this corner and go up diagonally. If you keep your finger here holding it, it helps this fold right there not go past your line. And make sure up here at the top that your page corner is aligning with this top corner. All right. Hold it securely on both ends. And remember, if you go down diagonal to the middle, go out, it makes it so that your paper doesn't slip while you're pushing and creasing and folding it. Okay, so that's one direction. We need to do this the same going this direction. So we open it back up. It's the same diagonal. This corner is now going to come to here. So my finger's going to go there. And it's going to come all the way and meet up here. Okay, I can hold that spot and this spot. Going down the center of it. So that I can crease those edges. There we go. Now we've gone both directions diagonally on this half of the paper. So that's exactly what we're going to do on this side of the paper. We're keeping it symmetrical. Symmetrical, meaning that what we do to one side, we evenly do the same thing to the other. So I'm going to hold that line. Going to make sure it's come up in here all the way to the top. So only the little triangle piece is sticking out. Okay, and once everything is nice and even, come down the middle, inside, and outside edges. There we go. Same thing, just going down. Now this is the part where our box finally begins to start taking shape. So you will open up your middle piece right there from the center on both sides. And these are becoming the sides of our box. This part right here, these 2 corners, they are going to go down as you pull this edge up. See how they kind of fold in? They're folding down. So when you start to pull this side up right there, you're making this edge of the box. And then you fold over. And then this triangle now becomes the new triangle down there in the bottom. Okay. Once it's nice and down in there, you can give the top a bit of a crease. Turn. We're going to do that same thing to the other side. And now you have a little box. Of course, this is only one half of the box, so that means that these little steps, we're going to have to do them a second time for a top half. So you guys can go ahead and rewind and follow along once more. Now you can take the first one that you made and the second one that you made, and they will slide into each other. Now, since they're about the same size, it does mean that you will have to kind of bend one to get it in. But there you go. Now you have a nice paper box. So I really hope you enjoyed making our origami box today. Nice place for you to put your little bobs and bits, anything you'd like to store. You can also have fun decorating the outside if you didn't already pick a decorative paper. So have fun, be creative, and stay healthy. We miss you.